Hi, this is Chris. I'm just about through the year with my gardening journal. This is an altered book. It's a children's book, and I got it as a kit from Diane Hubert as Pretty Pink Cottage. And it came with the children's book. It came with this cloth that says orchard, cornfield, sunflowers, apples. And then it came with some scrapbooking papers, which I cut out and decorated my pages with. It came with some envelopes, and there's some more a book page, book illustration it came with that I cut out and pasted on. I made these tabs from some of the things included in the kit. This package of parsley seeds, actual seeds from, I think it was 1993. So I've been using this. This will be the second year. So there's the first year, and then the second year, and I write what I've planted. I write down the weather. I put in some pictures of things that I've planted, that I'm growing, and things that I want to plant and grow, and then this article about iris, things that interest me. And some of the plants that I have in the garden, I put this information about them, the forsythia and California poppies, and cactus here, and I use graphed paper. So it's a junk journal, but all the pages of the book are still in here, and they're still in order, and I did a video on how I made this. So I'm getting towards the end of this, and I'll need another one for next year. So this one was an altered book. This one is from the year before, and this is a hand-bound book with all kinds of pages in it, and mostly tea-dyed paper and graph paper, and some legal size paper that I folded, so it folds out. Some articles from the University Cooperative Extension that talk about plants in our area. And I stuck in the grow zone here in the back. So those are two different ways of making a garden journal. I thought I might use this one as my garden journal. I did it on video. It's called Rose, and it has dividers, and it has all kinds of different pages, digital printouts, envelopes, cards, and it's all ready to be used as a garden journal. But I'm thinking I might want to try next year a loose leaf garden journal. So here is a recipe journal that I made last year or early this year, I can't remember. I also have a video on this one. It has a little envelope on the front, and I used some digitals, and it's old-fashioned type images from encyclopedia. I pasted in some recipes, I made dividers. It still needs work. I put a lot of my clippings and recipes that I'd like to try in here, and they need to be sorted and pasted down and all that kind of stuff. And so when I made this, I got 2 of these binder clips. I prefer a 3-ring binder to a 6-ring binder. 3-ring binder I think is easier to punch the holes because I have a hole punch for a 3-ring binder. But it came in a set of 2, and the 3-ring binders came in a set of 100, and I wasn't going to buy 100 of these. So I want to make it with this, and I want to make it like this, except I want to put the rings on the spine. I want to try that, put the rings on the spine. So I needed to find something that I could use, and I thought I could use this. This was my mother. She was into oil painting ever since I was a kid. And this is on a spiral binding, and I can just pull this out and I can use this and put this on the spine. It will fit on the spine. So that's what we're going to do with this one. So I'll put these out of my way. And what I will have to do is loosen these by spreading them apart. And then I can slip the whole book insides out. And then someday when I get a cinched journal, I can make a new cover for this. But meanwhile, I'll pinch a few of these back just so it doesn't slip off, and I'll put this somewhere else. So now we have our cover, and I want to take off this. Alright, now I didn't damage that. I felt like I went all the way through at once, but I didn't. And this is a little bit dirty, so I'm going to clean that up. That was pretty easy. I was really thinking I was going to have to spend a lot of time finding just the right size book cover. I still have some boxes of my mother's books that I'm going to be getting rid of, and I went in the first box and found this right near the top, so that's going to fit just right. So this comes with little grommets and screws. You can see right there a little post, sort of like some of the photo albums. And I just want to be able to lay it flat, and I think that's going to be fine. But I need to cover up that area, so I need to cover up this raw cardboard, and I need to overlap this. This is coated, so I'm not sure what glue, maybe score tape. I should try score tape on that. And so I need to find something appropriate for this. So I can see that this is going to be a glare, but I can't really, I could maybe put it up a little bit. Now it's still going to glare. So I found this, this is a page out of England is a Garden, I believe it's called. A beautiful book of watercolors. And I think I'll use this wisteria right here. And I'll cut that. My blade's a little dull, so I'm going to have to clean this up a little bit. This book page feels like a nice cotton paper. It's supposed to resemble watercolor paper, I think. And so my blade kind of feathered it, and when that happens I usually just take a nail file after I cut off the big chunks, and I can just sand off those little feathery edges. So we're going to put this here. Just going to eyeball it. I'm going to mark it just inside and get my score tape. I just happened to be at Michael's last week and I got myself some score tape, and I've actually haven't used this before. I've used other double-sided tapes, like tapes for framing that you use in putting on the backing and framing. So we'll see how it goes. See if I can get the glare off of this for you. I don't know, it just wants to glare, doesn't it? That's better. Okay. Let's see how we do. I want to square that off. Pretty sticky. And I'm just going to put that on that little sook wing. Okay, I need to do something about this. I need some weights. Ah, my book weight. All right. I'm going to put it on like that. So I've made lots of different kinds of journals, and there's always a first time for everything. So this is my first time doing it this particular way. I think I'll put another row right on the edge. Now, I'm going to need to crease this before I actually glue it down. Here we go. I think I'll put a little score tape at the top and glue the rest. This is just art glitter glue in a little container. I forgot that other bottle was pretty much empty. I want to be sure it's going to be flexible, so I don't want to get it too tight. So it doesn't have a top or a bottom. It's the same thing at both ends. Opens, closes. So pretty much eyeballing this. Could use my center ruler. Let's see. So I'm just looking at the edge of this corner of this paper here. They're right on the edge of that, of the cover. And so this is my center. Okay, that's pretty. That's pretty. I like that. Just double check that it looks close enough for government work. it does. I have two options for punching my holes. I have a screw punch, also called a Japanese punch, and I have a leather punch. This goes way back to when I was in college. It has different sizes. So, for this, turn it the right way. I don't want to go. Looks like the right one there. So I'll try one with this and I'll try one with the other. And I already looked to see if this would fit, and maybe not. Oh. You take the strap off of it. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of strength. Give it a little twist. There we have our hole. It just fits. Okay. That was actually pretty easy. I don't know if I want to use the Japanese punch. So it looks like it'll fit. So for the Japanese punch, it has a little ratcheting mechanism. See that little spiral? As you push down, it turns and twists the bit. So let's see if this is any easier or harder. And that was 2. Don't want to go too deep into my little cutting thing, my cutting mat. It's almost like it doesn't want to cut through that cover. There it goes. Nope. It went through the cardboard. It doesn't seem to want to cut through the vinyl or plastic coated cover, so I'm going to finish it with this. Well, that's just a stubborn cover. So if you have one of these screw punches, you probably could use this. I'll put a link to both of these items in case you want to investigate. So what we do is we take our little grommets, we put them through from the back, and then we put this on and we screw it on right here. But before we do that, I have to make another decision. What do I want to do with the cover? I really like this. I would like to leave that and maybe cover this up and cover some of this up and cover this up. So I have to think about how I'm going to do that. So I wonder if I tilted my lights, if it would help with the glare. Not really. Okay, I have decided that I'm going to use my own digital kit. I've been looking through all my magazines and scraps and different things, and I think I'm going to use my own digital kit. And so there's 17 pages in this kit, and it's antique seed catalog covers, journal and ephemera digikit. These are the seed catalog covers. It has pages for a junk journal, has everything I need, has blank pages, pages with lines on them. It has labels, it has washi strips, has labels with elements from the pages, and it also has some journaling things like calendar dates and notes and years and things like that on it. And that's in my Etsy shop, a shameless plug, but I really like it. I mean, I wouldn't have made it if I didn't like it. So what I want to do, put this aside, I'm thinking, cover up that glare. So these are seed catalogs, and they're made so that this is the front and this is the back. You can make little booklets out of them, or you can cut them out and use them all kinds of ways in a junk journal. Decorating, making tags and things like that. So there's 8 of those little seed catalogs, and those are actual public domain seed catalogs artwork. So there's tags and things like that, and made from the same artwork. And I was thinking perhaps this bluebird would be pretty, and I could cut it out in such a way that it would cover up that. And then I can use these pages inside. I actually found out that my printer will print edge to edge, and so I'll have to reprint these so I can get edge to edge. So some of these I've already printed back to back, and I can use the labels for things, and these labels with the elements on them. And then I thought one of these strips would work just to cover up these words on here, and I would just enough to cover up the words, and then I would let the artwork show around it. And then for the back, I thought I would use this jelly print. This is a jelly print I made with my neighbor. She invited me over to her house to do jelly prints, and it was my first time, and it was really fun. And this was actually my wipe-off sheet. So I think this, I could trim this and put this on here. So now, how am I going to do this? How am I going to stick these things to this glossy cover? I think what I'll do is I'm going to have to sand this with a little bit of sandpaper to rough it up to make sure it glues, and then I'm going to decoupage it. And before I decoupage these, because these are inkjet prints and they're water soluble, so I'm going to spray them with a fixative. And I use Krylon fixative, and it makes it you still have to be kind of careful, but it keeps it from bleeding with any liquids and stuff. First I'm going to cut my pieces out to the size I want. And I think to do that, I'm going to need a piece of tracing paper. So here's a piece of tracing paper. It seems kind of dark in here. There's a big cloud blocking the sun. The sun should be coming through my window right about now, and there's a big old cloud up there, and so I'll have to compensate, I guess. Anyways, I tore this from a much larger sheet. I was lucky enough to get some tracing paper from one of my jobs. They no longer used it after they went digital, And it had been sitting on the shelf long before I got there. The tracing paper was not being used. And so I asked if I could have it, and they said, sure. So I have like a world supply of tracing paper. 4 times as big. This is 1/4 of a sheet. So what I'm doing is I'm tracing an outline of where the words are, and I'm going to cut this out. That fits right in there. Put this away. So now I can see how my image will look within that space. I know you probably can't see it. It's going to be kind of hard. It's really hard to pick this stuff up. So I'm going to do like that. Now I'm going to trace it again. If you look at these washi tapes, you'll see these flowers. They're right side up when you look at it this way. And these are right side up when you look at them this way. These are the same, except some of the flowers are turned a little bit. Like this one goes at an angle that way. This goes a little bit flatter. So they're the same flowers, but they're just slightly different. Then with the butterflies, these are all right side up going this way. These are all right side up going this way. And these are right side up, but they're turned at an angle. So at first glance it looks like all the same thing, but they're actually 6 different images. And I'm going to use this one. So I think if I cut it right on the image line, it will be plenty wide enough. I can't make it any narrower unless I print it out narrower. I think I'll round those corners with a corner rounder. This is a small corner rounder. I can go right to there. And then, to cover up the logo, save those butterflies. Can use them somewhere else. And so this will go here. This will go here. And what do I do with my... All right, now this one, I cut it a little bit wider than the image area. One reason why I'm rounding the corners is so that after this is all glued down, Mod Podge down, the corners will be less likely to get caught on anything and start peeling up. So I'm going to make some marks on this also. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spray these two with fixative so that they don't get destroyed when I Mod Podge them on. I have to do that in the garage. Trying to eliminate that glare. It's a little bit better. Okay, so I spray these with fixative. You can't see any difference. It's a matte. Can't tell that what I've done anything, and that'll go on there. That'll go on there. This one doesn't need to be sprayed because it's acrylic paints. And so this is what I use. I use Grumbacher Matte Workable Fixative for pastel, charcoal, and pencil. And it's also good for inkjet prints. There's another brand that I used to use. This is Krylon Low Order Clear Matte Finish, Clear Latex Enamel. This works well also. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of sandpaper and I'm just going to rough this up. And I'm going to rough this up. And I'm going to rough this up within my lines. But I won't make you watch me do that. That's pretty straightforward. However, this will be the end of this video, and I'll come back for part 2 next week. So have fun crafting and come back and see how I finish up this little book. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.